Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami.
Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Once Upon a Time. So just in the previous series of Once Upon a Time, we just completed the Dashavatara series. So in the various episodes, in the 10 episodes, we were glorifying the Lord who incarnated in various forms, in the fish form, in the tortoise form, in the half-man, half-lion form, in the Balarama form, in Buddha form, Kalki form, you name it. So no doubt the Lord is definitely pleased when we discuss and glorify various incarnations of His, the amazing qualities that He possesses. The Supreme Lord Krishna is even more pleased when we glorify His great devotees. So that is why, starting from this episode, for the next 12 episodes, my dear viewers, we are going to discuss about Mahajanas. Jana means people, Maha means great. So there are many people, but there are very few great people. In any area that you take, for example, business, there will be a quote-unquote Mahajana, an expert, a successful person who has tasted the success in business. If you take the area of politics, there will be a Mahajana, an expert, somebody who has tremendously been successful in politics. You take in the field of art, you take in the field of acting, you take in the field of, anything for that matter. So now, are we interested in various mundane fields that we want to take? No. We will be discussing about great personalities who can be the guiding light on our path of spirituality to achieve the ultimate success of life. The ultimate. And that is God realization. How to achieve sense control. How to be ultra focused on the final goal of life. What is the true purpose of life? How do we establish the lost connection with the Supreme Lord? How to be happy and peaceful no matter what else is happening around us, to us. So these Mahajanas that we are going to discuss, they will teach us by example. They are not only going to do lip service, of course they will do preaching also, but more than the preaching, prachara, they are acharyas. They also practice what they preach, and that's the greatness about these Mahajanas. Now, how does an ordinary devotee become a Mahajana, a great devotee? Well, usually, even in our material world, when we see somebody, we say this person is great when he has big connections. When he is rubbing shoulders with the movers and shakers of the world, we say, oh my God, this person is a great person. Look at the kind of association he is having. Look at the kind of connections he has. So a Mahajana is a Jana, a person who has very close connection with the Supreme, the greatest person, that is Supreme Lord Krishna. So he who has very close connection, proximity with the Supreme Lord, then he becomes a Mahajana for us. Because isn't that what we want? In God realization, we want to get closer and closer and closer to the Supreme Lord. So if we walk in the footsteps of these personalities, then it becomes easier for us. Now, what is the other reason why we need to discuss about these Mahajanas? Remember, our life is very short. Approximately 100 years? And that's not very long. And we have a long way to go. And it's an arduous journey. It's not going to be easy. So if we have to figure it out on our own, if we want to try it out, this way, that way, trial and error, we are going to waste so much of time and energy doing so. So what will a smart person do, an intelligent person do? He will already figure out, hey, who is it that has already achieved what I want? Who is it that has already walked the path on which I want to tread? Just figure out that person and then simply follow. Take that path. Just do what they have done. Just don't do what they have not done and you'll get there. That's intelligence. So that is how in Srimad Bhagavatam, I have already told you how many cantos are there. I know you're all intelligent, you know there are 12 cantos. So in the 6th canto, there is this very interesting pastime that comes about Ajamila. We'll not get into all the details, but Ajamila, although he was a Brahmana by birth and had done some pious activities in the beginning of his life, later he really degrades himself because of bad association, and finally at the time of death, in spite of being so sinful, he calls out Narayana. And that Narayana, he called out to 10th son of his, not the Supreme Lord Narayana. And at that point, what happened? The Yamadutas. Yamaraj, you know, the Lord of Death who will punish everybody and give justice. He has his messengers, Yamadutas. They will come and grab these sinful souls and take them to Yamaraja's court. So Yamarajas were just ready to grab and take Ajamila. I told you he was very sinful later part of his life. But the moment he called out Narayana, immediately what happens? Vishnu Dutas will come, the messengers of Lord Vishnu, and they say, you can't take Ajamila. We are going to take Ajamila with us. And Yamadutas and Vishnu Dutas, you know, this conversation is going back and forth, but to no avail. And Yamadutas, they go to Yamaraj, their boss, and say, you know, Yamaraj, look at the list of sins that he has performed. There is not even a single sin that somebody can perform and he hasn't. So how can this happen? We know that he called out to his son and not the Lord. At that time, in 6th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Yamaraj, in this particular context, is actually giving a vivid description to his messenger saying, what actually is dharma? What are the religious principles? Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. He is saying the Supreme Lord, whatever he says, that is only dharma. So here, if Lord Narayana wants to take Ajamila, because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said, at the time of death, whoever thinks of me will come to me, and if he wants to give the benefit of doubt to Ajamila and take him back home, back to Godhead, then who am I to reject that? And not only that, Yamaraj goes on to say, my dear Yamadutas, there are very handful of people who have truly understood what dharma is, and also very few who also live the dharma. And at that particular point, here in 6th canto, chapter 3, verses 20 and 21, Yamaraj is describing to Yamadutas. Let me chant those shlokas for your benefit. Swayambur Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manuho Prahlado Janako Bhishmo Balirvaya Sakirvayam. 12 Mahajanas. Swayambur, who is Lord Brahma. I will explain to you why he is called Swayambhu. He is the very first Mahajana who we will be discussing today. And then Narada, the great transcendental sage. Shambhu, Lord Shiva. Kumara, the 4 sons of Lord Brahma. Kapila, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti. Manuhu, specifically it is Swayambhuva Manu. Prahlada, Janaka, Bhishmadev, Bali, Vyasakir. Who is Vyasakir? Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadev. And then Yamaraj is saying, Vayam, I myself. So all these 12 great personalities are the authorized Mahajana. So we are not going to whimsically talk about anybody and everybody. We will be talking specifically about these 12 personalities. So in the 21st shloka, Yamaraj is continuing to say, Dvadashaite vijanimo dharmam bhagavatam bataha गुह्यं विशुद्धं दुर्बोधं यं ज्ञात्वामृतमश्नुते. Dvadashaite, these 12 great personalities, they know what they know, dharmam bhagavatam bataha. Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham, very secretive principles, they know them all. Yam Nyatvam Ashnute, anybody who follows their footsteps will also Amrutam Ashnute, will achieve the final nectar, supreme nectar. Okay, so these are the 12 personalities, and the very first Mahajana, the subject matter of discussion today is Swayambhu. Swayambhu. Swayam means self. I myself, we say Swayam. Bhu means to manifest. He who has manifested on his own without the aid of a mother, who is he? Lord Brahma. So his birth itself is so fascinating. So let us take a few minutes to discuss about this fascinating birth of Swayambhu. So Lord Brahma was born from a lotus flower. He just appeared, manifested on the lotus flower. He had one head, very beautiful, very effulgent looking Brahma. It was so dark. He turned this way, there is nobody. He turned this way, there is nobody. He turned back, oh, there is nobody there too. So Brahma, who was born with one head, the point that he turned towards all the four directions, he became Chaturmukha Brahma. So he looked here and there, everywhere. He is like, where have I come? What place is this? It's so dark, and here is a lotus flower. Who am I? Who gave birth to me? What am I supposed to do? Where did I come from? He had all these questions and absolutely no answers. So how did he end up on lotus flower? For that, let's trace back now. Lord Krishna, his original abode is Goloka Vrindavana, not the Vrindavan which is close to Delhi in North India. This Vrindavan Goloka is in the spiritual world. This is the ultimate abode where Krishna is always, in complete bliss. He's dancing with the gopis, he's playing with the gopas, all the elderly mothers and fathers, Mother Yashoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda Baba, Vasudeva, Devaki are caring for him in Vatsalya Rasa. He has many servants. There are, Goloka means it's a planet of goats. There are innumerable number of cows. There's Yamuna Nadi. There's all kinds of plants and creepers and birds and animals and aquatics and everybody who is totally in bliss. So Krishna, it is said, will never leave Vrindavana. Who would like to leave, right? But then all the management affairs now, who is going to maintain, who is going to create, who is going to destroy, who is going to manage the rebellious souls who have fallen from the spiritual world to the material world? Krishna does not want to get personally involved. Just like a rich man, he wants to be golfing somewhere in Switzerland and having a fun time. He doesn't want to be involved in day-to-day headache affairs. So Krishna is the perfect delegator. So Krishna expands himself into so many different forms, and especially in this context we have to talk about Purusha Avatara. Avatara means incarnation. Purusha means the Supreme Lord himself incarnates into three different Purushas. The very first Purusha who we should focus on is Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Many people think Vishnu means there is only one Vishnu. No, there are three Vishnus. So Karanodakashayi Vishnu. Vishnu who is in the causal ocean, who is the cause of this material world. So what does he do? Simply every time he breathes, there are innumerable number of Brahmandas from the pores of his skin are emanating out. Can you imagine? From our pores only sweat is coming out and dirt is coming out. But here from Karanodakashayi Vishnu's pores, unlimited number of Brahmandas are coming. Not just one, many Brahmandas. And into every single Brahmanda, regardless of whatever size it is of, this Karanodakashayi Vishnu will enter into each Brahmanda as Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. He enters into the Garbha of each Brahmanda. There he lies down on an ocean, and what is that ocean made of? His own sweat. Now don't say, ew. It's not like our sweat. Our sweat stinks. But the Supreme Lord's sweat, it is sweet like nectar. So from the sweat, he forms an ocean, and in that ocean of his perspiration, he is lying down on Ananta Shesha, peacefully, nicely enjoying being served by Mother Lakshmi. And from this Garbhodakashayi Vishnu's navel comes a lotus flower. And on top of this lotus is our Lord Brahma. So where did Lord Brahma come? From the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. That is why his other name is also Hiranyagarbha. And because he manifested on top of the lotus flower, he has few other names also related to that. So now, Lord Brahma, remember, he is perplexed. He doesn't know where he is. He is not seeing anybody, anything. So he thought, okay, let me go into the stem of the lotus and see what is there. Maybe I will find the source. So he went inside the stem a little deeper, closely he was holding on. This is humongous lotus. He's going deeper, 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 deeper. And he got so scared, he ran back and came and sat on top of the lotus. He regathered courage again. He thought, second time around, let me go again and try. I need to do something. I can't be here forever. So again he went inside the stem, inside the stem, inside the stem, inside the stem. It's getting darker, darker, darker and scarier. Again he runs back on top of the lotus and sits down there. He waits, nothing is happening, nobody to be seen, nothing is heard. How scary is that? So few times the same thing happens. He's trying to go inside the stem, nothing is seen. Again he comes back. Then finally he goes deeper, 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 even deeper. And there he hears this tumultuous rushing of the waves of the ocean. And it's dark, and you know, this turbulent noise from the... if you've ever been on the shores of the ocean and the beach in the night time, that itself is scarier. Imagine here it is Garbhodaka ocean. He was like really petrified this time, and he again climbed up the stem and came back and sat on the lotus. He absolutely has no clue what to do, and at this particular time, what happens? He hears just two letters repeated 3 times. Thapa, thapa, thapa. What does thapa mean? Austerity. So from that point on, for millions of years, Lord Brahma does intense tapasya. And finally, after so much of austerity, the Supreme Lord is so pleased with him, he appears before him. It is also said that at this point, he was taken to Goloka to have darshan. And there, when he saw Govinda, the Shyamasundara form of Krishna, he was so mesmerized with the most beautiful form of the Lord, and that is when he composed Brahma Samhita, Sri Brahma Samhita, Samhita, collection of prayers. And it is Brahma who composed. Of course, there are many shlokas here, very, very beautiful. But just to give you a taste for it, I am simply going to chant a couple of shlokas from this, okay? Chintamani prakara sadma sukalpa vriksha Lakshavriteshu surabhira vipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra shata sambrama sevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. How beautiful, isn't it? See how nicely he is describing. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govinda, one who gives pleasure to the senses. Adipurusham, the primordial being. Tam aham bhajami. It is that Govinda who I worship. Such details he is giving. Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam. Lakhs and lakhs, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmi Devis are serving him. Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha. It is filled with Chintamani, wish fulfilling desire stones. Kalpa Vriksha, desire fulfilling trees. Lakshavrateshu Surabhir Abhipalayantam. Govinda, he is serving, he is herding what? Surabhir. Surabhi cows. How many? Lakshavrateshu, crores of them. This is Goloka. He is giving us a glimpse. And he continues to describe the most beautiful form of Krishna. Venum kvanantam ravinda dalayataksham barhavatam samasitambuda sundarangam kandarpakoti maniya vishesha shobham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Oh my God, such beautiful verse. So when we see an image, a portrait of Krishna, some people think this is all imaginary. No, it is not imaginary. Lord Brahma has seen Krishna and he is giving exact description. Venum kvanantam aravinda dalayataksham. Venum kvanantam. He plays the flute. Aravinda dalayataksham. His aksha, his eyes are like the petals of lotus. Barhavatamsam. He wears peacock's feather on his head. Asitambuda sundarangam. What is the skin color, his complexion? Asitambuda sundarangam. The hue of the freshly formed clouds. That tinge of blue. Kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobham. Even one cupid is so attractive. Brahma is telling Kandarpa koti kamaniya. Millions of cupids also cannot match the beauty of Krishna. Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. It is this Govinda, the most beautiful one, the most powerful one. It is he who I worship. Isn't that beautiful? And exactly at this point, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, transfers all the Vedic knowledge directly unto the heart of Brahma. Tene Brahma Hrudaya Adi Kavaye. Directly into the Hrudaya, directly into the heart of Brahma. So it is said from the third hole of the flute that Krishna played, from that hole all the Vedic knowledge was given unto Brahma. In fact, the whole Bhagavatam that as we know has 18,000 shlokas, but the way the Supreme Lord gave it to Brahma was only in 4 shlokas. Because Brahma is extremely intelligent. Our body is made from gross body and subtle body. And subtle body has what? Mind, intelligence and false ego. Lord Brahma, he does not even have a gross body that is made from air, water, fire, ether, earth. His body is completely made from intelligence. So Brahma could understand the entire Bhagavatam in just 4 shlokas. But for products of Kali Yuga like us, Vyasadeva had to expand it to 18,000 shlokas. But even in spite of that, many of us, we don't read it, we don't understand it, we don't follow it. So it is said Bhagavatam can expand or contract depending upon the intelligence of the audience. So for Brahma it is 4 shlokas, for us it is 18,000 shlokas, in some higher planets it's somewhere in between, and in some other lower places where the intelligence is even more dull, for them it could be even more. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, now Brahma got to know where he came from. He has all this knowledge. Now what is he supposed to do? Brahma was assigned the biggest responsibility that anybody can have. And that is to create the universe. Can you imagine how difficult that is? Even to build one house, it is so difficult. So much of planning, so many ingredients, so many people have to work on the construction, engineer, architect, cement, bricks. To build one simple house, to create it so difficult. And here Brahma was tasked, this Mahajana was tasked with the most difficult task, that is to build the whole universe. That is why he is the secondary creator. Why is he not the primary creator? All the ingredients to build the universe, all the intelligence needed to create the universe, the blueprint, all that was given by the Supreme Lord. And Brahma, just like a mason, and I don't mean to undermine his position by giving the example analogy of a mason, is a supreme, very difficult task. But he had to take all these ingredients, he had to take all this design, and then he had to create. So Brahma is not the primary creator, he is the secondary creator. And he himself accepts this in Bhagavatam when his son Narada comes and says, "Oh my dear father, I think you are the ultimate, but I see that you are also meditating on somebody. You are chanting somebody's name. Who are you chanting on?" And Brahma says, "My dear son Narada, many people, unintelligent people, think that I am the creator." Brahma says, "No, it is Vasudeva, it is Krishna who is the primary creator. I am simply executing the task that he has given me as a way of serving him." So this is how we have to understand the position of Brahma. No doubt he is a great being, but he is not the Supreme Lord. He is the Pitamaha, but the Prapitamaha is Krishna. Okay, now he builds and now he has to do match the following. What is the match the following? Like in schools and colleges, we used to have this, right? There are some characteristics, there are some people we should match correctly. So now Brahma's next task is, there are so many jiva spirit souls who have to take birth. Because of their karma, because of their rebellious nature, because they want to enjoy the material world. And there are so many 84 lakh different species. So now Brahma has to do match the following. Which jiva will go into which species? Tough task, isn't it? But the beauty of Brahma at every single point is that no matter what tough task he is given, he always surrenders, seeks the shelter of the Supreme Lord. He never thinks, "I am the doer." He seeks the blessings of the Lord. He seeks to be empowered by the Lord to execute it. And what a brilliant job he does. Very, very difficult. Because the jivas want to come and enjoy here, but Krishna says this is a place of misery, dukkhalayam. And now Brahma has to create this illusion of enjoyment, illusion of happiness. How tough is that? And Brahma lives up to that expectation the Supreme Lord has given him. So we can see, when I say we have to learn from Mahajanas, even in our life, when we have to execute our responsibilities, we should do it as a service for the Lord. We should always seek the help of the Lord. We should always take the shelter of the Lord. Then everything is possible. Now also, not only surrender, yet another beautiful, important quality that we can learn from Lord Brahma is that of humility. How humble he is. Like I said, he clearly says that he is not the creator, it is the Supreme Lord who is the creator. And yet again, here I have the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. A huge blunder Lord Brahma ends up doing. Which I will not repeat the whole pastime because we have already discussed about this in our demon series. It's called the Brahma Vimohana Leela. Those of you who want to know more about this, you can watch our demon series available on Aradhana YouTube channel. You can also read from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto. So what happened after killing the snake demon called Aghasura? All the demigods were mesmerized by the power of Krishna. They were showering flowers, and Lord Brahma also happened to come there. Because Aghasura was a great demon, and whoever could kill him definitely must be even greater. And Brahma was watching this whole scene, what is going on here, And after killing Agasura, Krishna, along with his cowherd friends, they were all having like a picnic kind of a lunch. So they were eating, and he noticed something really interesting. We know the Supreme Lord is Pavitram, all pure. He is the purest. And what is happening? Krishna is literally eating that which is already tasted by his friends. You know, they literally take from his plate. His plate, Krishna gives what he has and takes from what they have. And especially his friend Madhumangal, who loved to eat. He had brought some buttermilk in a earthen pot his mother had given. He had already drank completely and he had inflated his cheeks. You know, sometimes we do. What does Krishna do? He comes and deflates his cheeks and all the buttermilk spurts out of Madhumangal's mouth, and Krishna positions in a place where he didn't want to miss even a drop of buttermilk that was spurting out of Madhumangal's mouth, and Krishna drinks all this, and this was a huge culture shock for Brahma. He thought, this can't be God. How could he be drinking something, eating something straight from the mouth? So at this point, Brahma was completely bewildered as to what was happening. And what does he do at this point? He actually ends up stealing all the cowherd friends and the cows of Krishna. He takes them and hides them in a cloud. One day, his time is 1 year on the earthly planet. Relativity. So meanwhile, Brahma thinks that, now I will test Krishna, if he is really Supreme Lord or not. Let me see what he will be able to do. So Brahma actually wanted to bewilder Krishna and test Krishna, but actually there is a huge twist in the story. He who wanted to bewilder actually ends up getting bewildered. But how did he get bewildered and all that? In fact, there are so many facts that I want to share more about Brahma, which deserves another episode. So let's come back in the next episode and we will complete our discussion on Brahma, who is the very first Mahajana. I hope you relish some of the points, contemplate on it, and we will come back and finish the discussion on Brahma in the next episode. Take care, share this with as many people as you can, and also I will leave the link for our exclusive WhatsApp group below in the description. Use that link and join our WhatsApp group. And also, if you haven't already subscribed to Aradhana YouTube channel, now is the time to do it. So take care. We'll be back very soon. Once upon a time, Hare Krishna.